How's it going, guys? Dynamite here, coming to you as always from the Digital Warfare 24/7 forums, and today I am flipping this player analysis thing on its head, and we are instead going to be looking at some of my gameplay that I've had some of my buddies from the forums analyze. So kicking it off here, we are going to pause at the 25-second mark and talk a little bit about some of the stuff that Archer has raised, forum member Archer. He says, first and foremost, I like how you get your EMP and C4 out at the beginning. Great work there. Just to talk about that, I do really like to throw out that EMP at the start because, first of all, if you get hit by an EMP right off spawn, you're immediately thrown into confusion. Plus, you get that hit marker that tells you for sure that people are coming up the middle. And then the C4 I just like to throw out to get any early comers who jump on that B flag right off the start. So what Archer says he doesn't like here is how you just jump out into the middle of the map at 25 seconds to clear B. Sure, there was a guy who needed to get shot, but I don't think that was urgent. I mean, he'd only been there for 2 or 3 seconds, and he was the only one there. You still had at least 7 seconds to get him, and you took a very high risk when you jumped out there with your back to the enemy spawn. I would have probably went back around the other end of the truck you were behind and popped out there instead. This way, you're not putting your back to your enemies. If you do this, you're going to want to jump shot as you will be facing the enemy on B. In this scenario, you get lucky and the shots to your side and back don't kill you. So let's roll a little bit here and you'll see exactly what he means. I do take out that guy, but I turn my back to the people that were coming up the middle. And now we are going to pause at 35 seconds, and Archer once again has something to say. He says, good flanking idea. I just wish maybe you'd aim a little bit more as you move down there. Perhaps stock would help if you had dropped cold-blooded. I am running cold-blooded on this class, but that's only to unlock the challenges. Anyhow, this route that I'm running around to the right here is, in my opinion, the best flank route you can run on Detour, and it's probably the route that I should have ran off the start to in retrospect. Jumping up the middle to take that guy off B and putting my back to the enemy spawn, as Archer said, was a really bad idea, and I got really lucky with that. So let's see how this flank ends up working here as I'm continuing down the right side of the map, trying to pre-aim corners a little bit here. And now, right around the 48-second mark, Archer has a few things to point out. So I pick up that guy who's laying on the ground. Let's pause and see what Archer has to say yet again. He says, the flank paid off and you picked up 2 good kills, allowing your team to cap the flag. Very good, very good. Yeah, usually when I'm running off the spawn for my first life, I like to either be someone who's throwing smoke or throwing trophy systems on B, or what I try to do is I try to flank around and come up behind the people that are trying to cap, and that allows my team to take the objective a lot easier. Now, just a couple seconds later, we have some commentary from Mason G, also from the forums. He says, if we pause at 52 seconds, Dano has just finished a double kill, and he knows that even with extended mags on the MSMC, he's going to have to reload. If we look at the mini-map at this point, we can see that the other teammates are situated no higher up than B-Dom, so enemies are going to be spawning around where Dano is. He anticipates this and reloads behind cover. Had that been a lazy reload, the guy he then goes on to kill would have probably killed Dano. Now, at 56 seconds, we have Trust and Truth actually weighing in on something. He says you shouldn't have gone down below there while your teammates were capping B, but instead covered them from the top and looked in on enemy players coming from the buildings or down their road towards their home flag. Now, this is really interesting because Truth says that, but at the same point, Archer actually weighed in too, and he says, I really like how you play right here. You kill an enemy down low, then you move up top, kill an enemy up there, then move back down. Great play right there. So it's interesting. We have two diverging thoughts on this issue. I do think that I probably made a good call there going underneath because my teammates seem to be pretty well situated around B, and what I'm doing is I'm killing them as they're trying to push up into a place where they can contest B. So let's roll footage here, and you're going to see exactly what Archer just mentioned. I get a kill downstairs, I move up, I get a kill there, I'm trying to be unpredictable, I swing back down here, pick up a couple guys. At this point I've got my lightning strike, and I'm really hoping I can pick up that VSAT. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off to one side here. And Mason G is going to weigh in on what happened there once again. He says at a little over a minute we can see another sharp reload behind cover as again Dano is the highest up on the field towards the enemy spawn and he knows it. He gets the reload in behind cover, heads down the ramp and makes a nice double kill. If that last reload was again not done with the same stealth that it had done, then it would have been the end of his streak. He lands a double kill and was unlucky not to get the triple, but he knows he's running low on ammo, so he retreats out of the spawn area and lands the smart reload again behind cover. The enemy this time doesn't pursue Dano, but he had a full clip ready in case the guy came looking. So that's another really good call from Mason. A lot of his commentary focused on my reloads and when I was making them properly, when I was making them anticipating enemy movements, and when maybe I should have done a better job at anticipating enemy movements and reloading. Archer has something to say here at 108. He says, "Not sure why you backed down from this gunfight. You still had some rounds left and you were already a little hurt, so it wasn't very likely you were going to be able to evade. Even though it was the right move this time around, you won't get away with this the majority of the time." So he's talking about that point where I picked up the double and I almost got the triple, but instead I decided to pull out. You can see I did have some rounds left in my magazine, and honestly I was really lucky to escape there. I was actually extremely surprised that I was able to break off that engagement. So again, we have some differing opinions here, which is always really interesting. We have Mason saying that it was a good call to pull out and try to hold off for my VSAT, and then we have Archer saying I should have pressed the attack. In this case, I'm probably going to agree with Archer. I think that I was extremely lucky not to get killed there. You saw how red my screen was, so I am going to say that I probably should have challenged and tried to finish that last guy off. It does happen to work out for me in this case, but it probably wasn't the best decision in retrospect. So now let's roll. I'm sitting on the back here trying to call in my lightning strike. Trust and Truth is going to weigh in at this point at 1 minute and 25 seconds. He says, "I would have moved down to C flag predicting the enemy spawn because your entire team was at the opposite flag. Could have led to a nice kill feed without fighting your own teammates for kills." That is a really good point. If you look at the minimap right now, you're going to see that my teammates are all over at ADOM. I know the spawn is going to be flipping, and unfortunately I'm a little too preoccupied trying to call in my lightning strike. I do think I did identify the spawn flip, and I was thinking they'll all be spawning hard at C. Let's try to deploy my lightning strike to catch them as they spawn when they're all together. But Truth makes a good point that maybe if I had just hung on to my lightning strike, especially since someone had already called one in, so my lightning strike was blocked, it would have been a lot better idea for me to have looped back around towards C and established myself in a way to get some kills, like he was saying, at a forward position where I'm not going to have to fight my enemy, or fight my teammates rather, for kills. So let's roll here. Good comments from Truth. I am flanking around towards CDOM here. I'm going to be looking for enemies to kill. They're hiding inside right now because one of my teammates has a Warthog up. And right there I'm going to suffer my first death of the game and get denied my VSAT. Now let's see what Archer has to say about that. He says, "You just sprinted around the effing corner, facepalm. Another time when stock would have been useful. On the positive side though, I liked how you got close to the van as you took the corner. Maybe if you just hadn't sprinted." Archer, the reason why I sprinted, and I'm not saying this is necessarily the right call, is that if you look at the minimap, you can see that there's this guy in the building that shows up on a UAV sweep right as I'm passing the building, so I'm really worried that he's coming out of the building on the right side. Now, it's true he could have been looking forward or not been moving that way at all, but my read on the situation was that I was about to get a guy right behind me, so I wanted to get around that corner as quick as possible, and I wasn't really thinking someone would be hanging back there, but as it ended up, there was a guy back there, and it ended up not being the best decision. So let's roll here as I'm going to be respawning and calling in my lightning strike, picking up that no kills. It's a 0 kill as Care to Elaborate's Warthog continues to go to work. So we are going to be flanking again down the side that I had success on last time. I really do think this is the best side to be engaging on. So I see that the spawn has flipped, so immediately I'm going to want to figure out exactly where they're spawning, and if they are headed this way, I'm going to want to take away their vision. I have the EMP handy, so I'm going to use it just for that, just for this occasion. So you're going to see here how I make a quick push up the middle. You can see that guy still had his head down from where he'd been slightly stunned by my EMP. I throw a predictive C4 at that doorway and do a good job of picking that guy off there. Now I'm going to be capping the flag here, and I'm going to realize that someone's coming up the stairs. Archer has something to say about this too, something that just happened actually. He says, "You just pop out of there and don't even look to your right. Yes, there was a guy in front of you, but you still need to check your right." I think he's talking about where I moved into the building. So at 250, Archer has another comment. He says, "Nice job being a hard target to hit while capping the flag." You can see I sort of do this little strafe jump off to one side, and I wait until I pick up the capture before I push out to challenge this LMG guy. I use the top of that staircase as a head glitch by backing up and keeping him at a slight distance from me. I was pretty happy at how that went right there. So now our next pause point is going to be a couple seconds away. You can see me trying to get my health back here as the LMG guy is spraying through that wall. Now right here we are going to have another comment from Archer. He says, nice job moving into the window as you shot and not staying there long at all. It's easy to get addicted to a good head glitch like Freedom is to that cush dank ganja, but you recognize that you must get out of there. Yes, very eloquently put, Archer. Yeah, that's a good call. Alright, so now I am going to be calling in my lightning strike here, as I am trying to stay out of that guy's line of fire. I'm going to let my lightning strike land. That one marginally more successful than my first one. And now you're going to see me running around the right side, once again flanking this weak side. I'm not going to run up the middle to Cat B because a lot of my teammates are a little bit further back on the minimap. Now right here at 3 minutes 34 seconds, we are going to have Archer weighing in once again. He says, nice job going around that big pile of shit to check your backside before going up after these enemies near me. I still may have checked a little harder. See what you did at 6:23? Still an alright move. You took a small risk for a little time, which ends up getting you your VSAT. Nice spoilers there, Archer. But yes, as you'll see here, I do a quick check and then I head up here. We are going to be taking out a couple people around the back side of their spawn. That does end up working out well for me. And we've got that VSAT, and now I'm going to call it in. So we're going to pause right about here, and we're going to have Mason weighing in again on my reloading. He says, so if we stop at 3 minutes 53 seconds, Dano currently has a VSAT up and he just landed a kill and goes to proceed out through the door towards CDOM where the enemy is spawning. However, he gets back into the room and into cover, lands the reload, and is out the door with a full clip. Lands the double kill with ammo to spare because of the EMP on this occasion. He wasn't aware of the enemy being behind him. Up to a merciless, however, so great work there. Alright, so let's see what's happening here. Like he says, I am able to pick up the reload there before I go pushing out again. I'm able to pick up the Merciless, but right there my awareness was really, really bad. And let me see if somebody else had something to say about that. Oh yes, well you know, Archer's weighing in again. He says, bad move going out to get the kill. No cover out there. Should have fled back into that little building with hopes of the VSAT returning. Archer's absolutely right here. I let myself get really flustered by the fact that my vision was gone. Here I am thinking I've got this great vision, I'm in their spawn, and all of a sudden the EMP grenade just takes it away, and I'm like, shit, what am I going to do? So I make the poor rush decision just to jump out, and I actually completely missed that LMG guy that I was talking about earlier. He's locking down the left side of the map behind that traffic barrier where he spends a lot of the match, and I just put myself right out there. I'm shooting an unsilenced weapon, and I get taken out, so that's definitely very much my fault there, and a good observation by Archer for sure. So now off the respawn, I'm going to be running a middle route here. You can tell I'm kind of frustrated because I'm not taking a more roundabout route. I do end up seeing this guy on the minimap back here, and I try to predict his movement with a quick C4. I don't end up getting anything, but I get an assist off the EMP that I threw towards middle. Now I'm going to be working my way down the left side, which is not an especially good place to be. You'll see that this guy with the LMG who's sitting on the corner immediately picks me up. I know that he's been over there, and at this point there's no excuse for me to be trying to challenge this this particular area. So in just a sec here, you'll see that was a pretty good move. I don't think anyone said anything about that, but running to the middle and then jumping to make a new route for myself through that building allowed me to pick up that one kill. Now, right at 4:50, we are going to see another comment from Archer. He says, you're sprinting at him, maybe aiming would help. Yeah, Archer. I had just come off spawn, and every other time I tried to run off to the right there, I hadn't encountered someone, so I allowed myself to get complacent, I think. And I thought I could just sprint through there and then start pre-aiming my corners once I got a little bit closer to their spawn. But, you know, I'm not the only one that's trying to push up into the spawn to get kills. This guy was obviously doing the same thing on the enemy team, so that's a good observation there, Mr. Archer. Let's roll again. So what's the next comment that we're going to have? It is going to be from my boy Trust in Truth. He's going to say in just a second here, as I get my revenge kill with a well-placed C4, if I may say so myself. At 5 minutes and 5 seconds, Truth says, you put yourself in a bad spot asking for a death with just the MSMC by trying to kill the guy off B. The only reason I would say it wasn't worth it is because only 5 to 10 seconds were left in the round. That's a good point, Truth. Let's roll it here and see what happens here. So I tried jumping around to pick this guy off. Again, I'm sort of putting my back to the enemy spawn. I do have a really bad habit of just throwing lives away at the end of the round because I get this mentality, you know, that okay, it's going to be the start of a new round. I have to start with points. I have to start with points. And Archer says something to that effect here at this same point. He says, "No need to worry about B as the round is seconds from ending. Just camp a little and wait for the round to end. You tried to protect the flag and died as a result." So there you hear Truth and Archer weighing in the same way, telling me that I shouldn't have been so aggressive at the end of the match, and they're right. I think I was trying too hard to make something of this gameplay because I did put up a fairly decent score along with that VSAT in that first round with the 23-5, but I do think that I was trying to force it a little bit, and that's something that Nine Notes Knives also mentions, is just that I play a little bit too aggressively in this game sometimes. I get off to a good start, and then I feel like I have to play aggressively to keep my momentum going, and really playing more cautiously is what I need to be doing. So now let's move into the second half here.